Hello, lady. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to go from like internet friend to
I know.
in-person friend. This is such a great moment in time.
Literally, I feel like we connected on LinkedIn like a couple of years ago.
Like, probably.
That's insane.
I know.
Nice
It's
to see you
crazy.
in person.
Nice to be in person. And I'm like, you know what? We've already Zoomed and
Yes,
now
we
we're
have.
making it official. We're making it IRL.
IRL. Love to see it. So, Gigi, obviously, I know you. So, for the people that don't know you, who are you?
So my name is Gigi Robinson. I am a content creator first. I've been a full-time content creator for about 5 years. I also am currently working on building a startup right now that is going to be helping creators grow and scale in the world of starting a business as a creator. How do you negotiate with brands without needing a manager? How do you show up and host an event? Which obviously people like yourself, like you know how to do that, but a lot of people actually come to me with the question of, I actually am really scared of public speaking. How did you get into that? I'm really interested in being in press articles. How do I do that? And so just teaching them kind of like the etiquette and the rules and the road of the business without necessarily being like a creator monetization coach, which I still think there's a time and a place for, but that is not going to be my business model. And so I'm really excited to continue launching that and growing that this year. I also am a New Yorker through and through, but I
love New York.
Just moved to New Jersey. Don't tell anyone. No, I actually love it. Still proximity to New York, and I'm just really grateful to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise. So tell me more about your business. What kind of started the foundation for that?
So I'll start with my creator business first. So I started being a content creator back in college, doing college ambassador programs. I was in about 13 of those, ranging from Abercrombie and Fitch to Amazon Prime to TikTok and Tinder.
Wow.
So I did so many of these programs, and a big part of what we did was field marketing, social media marketing by just like literally just like one-off posts about whatever you're doing, and also event hosting. So that's actually what set the foundation for what followed, which was fortunately or unfortunately the pandemic. And I graduated on my couch at home in New York, and I was supposed to be in LA for graduation, and I was really, bummed, but I told my parents, if I don't make it by 26 doing this creator thing, I'll get a job. And they said, cool, sure, take the risk. And I made it happen. I moved into New Jersey like 3 months in with my boyfriend in New Jersey, about 3 months after my birthday at 26, and I was traveling all summer, so that's why I didn't do it by 26. But nonetheless,
26 adjacent.
26 adjacent, and nonetheless, like now I have a podcast studio in my office, a content studio, and it's exactly what I need to help me run with my business. So that was the foundation.
Amazing, congratulations! And now that you are kind of like working on new avenues of business, you're obviously talking about scalability. What does scalability look like for you?
So the Gigi Robinson brand is where I do my bread and butter, my speaking engagements, any brand partnerships that brands want the Gigi stamp of approval on, and or like courses, businesses, or business endeavors that involve hosting. All of those things are like my personal brand. And obviously, as I grow and scale with the numbers, you can just like grow and scale that, and that provides you more capital in order to like bootstrap a startup. So in terms of the startup that I'm building right now, I really think the scalability is going to come from focus group and trial and errors. Like many startups, they do have to start somewhere with a beta 100%. And just kind of get a group together or a product together. And it's not going to be an app or a platform. It's probably going to be a much more community-based, in-person, direct relationship building business that we're working on right now. So the scalability is just going to be about maybe taking one of my favorite sponsors that I've personally worked with and saying, hey, look, let's partner up. Let's co-host something. Here's the programming. We'll co-sponsor it, or maybe you'll just be the title sponsor. You'll let me run it. And just figuring that out. And then potentially even giving other people that attend these events the opportunity to even be, in with a campaign that have campaigns that are under our influence is kind of where I see this growing and scaling over the next 5 to 10 years.
I love that. I actually want to go back to something you mentioned before, essentially leveraging your personal brand to bootstrap your startup. I feel like that's something that I want to tap in on, because I feel like that's the thing that a lot of creators and influencers who do want to build their own brands need to know. They may not necessarily have the capital or resources to kind of go out and like, you know, spend hundreds and thousands of dollars in the first 2 years of their business.
Of course.
But building a personal brand can give them the opportunities to earn that income. Why do you feel like it's important for creators and influencers to build personal brands?
Well, it's just what you said, but it's so much more than just going viral on a platform or just doing brand deals. Like, what are the things that you can do that you can grow and scale and expand your brand and get in front of more people? For me, that was public speaking. So journalists started asking me for comments in articles. From there, I started getting asked to do like guest lectures at my alma mater, and then just at like my high school, at my, you know, other adjacent schools nearby. And then I was like, okay, I guess that's a thing. And then from there, all of it was like just like growing, kind of snowballs when it is happening. And then there was this point where I was starting to get asked to be on panels for brands and like be on behalf of brands or like give a fireside chat about growing your brand. And it was all from pressing post, and it was all from staying true to who I was on social media and not like selling out and being like, I'm not necessarily going to just like go work with every brand that comes my way. I'm going to have that integrity to turn something down because I know something better is coming. And I know we've talked about that a lot before. 100%. So part of it's like believing enough in yourself to just like go for it. And also you have to be strategic, right? I have my dream list of brands, right? Like every single creator I know and every single friend that's in the industry, I'm like, what are some dream brands? And they're like, oh, I've never thought about that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's where you have to start.
You have to start there. And I'm not even like a top 10 girl. I'm a top 100 girl. I want you to make, you know, a list of 25 ideal dream bands. Perfect fit, longtime fan, will always be a tried and true user. Then to make about 50 brands that you like and that you would work with. If a paycheck came along, that worked and it was still aligned. And then make a list of 25 brands you would never work with. And when you have that clarity, it also is really easy to see on paper, like when you get that deal in and it's from a brand that you're like towards the no side, but it was someone you might work with, it gives you that clarity to really just be like, okay, actually not aligned, something better is going to come, and or it gives me leverage to go after what I really want in that dream partnership down the line. And doing those things sets you up for bigger opportunities because when you can lock in on a brand, that's where you can do things like host dinners, speak at their corporate office, do a long-term partnership, and become like a true partner where they're flying you out somewhere to host a podcast like this. And and I think that that's really the power of it. And there's a lot of conversations, which I'm sure you're seeing on LinkedIn, about being kind of like this workplace influencer. And some brands are leaning into it hardcore. Other brands are like, no, it's too much of a risk. So, you know, in terms of that, obviously, depending on the industry that you're in, if you're in the creative industry, I think it's important to have a personal brand. If you're a freelancer, if you're a creator, if you are a journalist, absolutely have a personal brand. And if you're in the influencer marketing industry, just make sure that you're not stepping on any toes with your personal brand.
Agreed. And one thing I actually want to go back to is that list you were mentioning of like your ideal brands or brands that you may not necessarily want to work with immediately, but you may be open to it. One of the ways I would always recommend creators and influencers get started is just by looking around your home. Look at the brand names in your cabinet, in your fridge, in your office, in your bedroom. These are things that you're already using. So there's an easier connection to make as you reach out and talk about potential opportunities with them.
And also if you work in social, I mean, come on, like obviously do creators partner with Apple? But like, you know, I'm just saying, or like a microphone company, a microphone stand company, and editing software, using Adobe software, the cameras you use to record. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I think the times really are changing where traditional brands like Nikon and Sony and Fuji, they're no longer just working with photographers. They're working with influencers who are using their products to grow their social. And I think that is so incredible that they're doing that, because like I'm a longtime camera lover. Like I'm a Nikon diehard person. I also have a Canon camera in my bag that actually my parents got me, the PowerShot that everybody's obsessed with. I was going to go buy one. And my parents were moving and they're like, oh, do you want this camera we found? And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, this is literally the PowerShot everybody on their mom ordered. But that's not to say I don't use that. I use that for a specific thing. And if Canon came to me and said, you know, we want to do a project, and or if I had the opportunity to do it with Nikon, who would I choose? And if the budget at my dream brand was lower, would I go with my dream brand, or would I go with the brand that's offering me something? Because also I think there's a certain level of like being agnostic. If you truly do use multiple things. I've used Adobe and I've used Canva. I've used Nikon. I've used Sony. I've used Canon. You know, and that's okay. We evolve, we change. Like I have different credit cards. Like this is like a normal thing. And I do think sometimes the exclusivity of working with a brand, like you can really silo yourself.
I agree.
If you take it back and you look at your wallet, the same way you look at your office, you'd be like, oh, I actually have 6 different credit card companies here. And like, that's okay.
I look at it like dating. Date multiple people. Until you figure out what you really want long term. You know, I feel like creators and brands, like they're relationships, so they operate in the same type of capacity. So I feel like with creators and influencers, it's easy to get so excited about like a potential opportunity. You just like throw everything out the window and you're like, yes, let's do it. But you really want to advocate for yourself and think about, what do I want out of this? How is this going to benefit me long term?
And also, when you get one of those one-off opportunities that is a little out of pocket, sometimes there's a level of curiosity that I think is okay to explore. If it's a new AI company and you've posted about AI and you're like, hey, I'm actually just giving this thing a shot, and that's the way you angle your content, then it can land. But if you're going in being like, I actually love this brand, and you've used it for like a day, you know, that's going to be obvious. It's not going to perform well. And also, I think we should like normalize when content flops. Like,
100%.
We gotta talk about that.
No, 100%. Because if there's anything that social guarantees, is you never know how your content is going to perform.
You never know.
Even when you think you do, it always surprises you.
And even when a brand loves your ad, it can still flop. And I feel like something I focused on over the past couple of years is really that like mental health impact that can really happen. Like the dopamine hit that you get when it goes viral and when it lands well and when they book you again, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then their budgets change, their things change, or the next one doesn't do as well. And then you don't feel as good about it anymore. But I think we should always be really proud of the work that we're doing, because at the end of the day, we're like literally creative producers and we're like public people that are sharing our life online. Like it's extremely vulnerable.
100%.
It's a job that, you know, I guess it's a
sometimes thankless.
Literally it can be so emotionally and mentally draining that I think it's okay sometimes to also take the deal if you need it. Like everyone's got to pay their bills sometimes. Also to like obviously not compromise on your integrity, but like it's a business. You got to do what you got to do.
And that's what they all add to. I feel like, you know, the onus is on us to also be less judgmental for people that do take the deal just because like this is a business and there's always going to be stages of the business where it's not as profitable as you think, you know, that you expected it to be. And I feel like in the cases where you do need to do things for money, do it.
And
so
also,
be it.
The market is changing every single second,
so rapidly,
every single day. And like what I got quoted for a LinkedIn sponsorship 2 months ago is completely different than the rate that I got in my inbox today. And that's okay. And even though the follower count is just like a couple thousand difference, like is that the real reason that it's different? Or is it because they believe in my stamp of approval? Like what exactly is that metric for giving you that money there, and like what makes the campaign successful for both people? And I feel like a lot of the time we're only talking about why it's successful for the brand and we're not talking about why it's successful for the creator.
Agreed. So I'm gonna ask you one final question.
Okay.
What is something that you feel like, whether it's like a marketing buzzword, a trend, that you want us to 86 as an industry?
Meaning like get rid of it? I think it would have to be the phrase, let's collab. And you know why? Because the amount of times I've said it, the amount of times I've talked about doing this with other people, let's collab. It's like, let's do something. And then you get on a Zoom call and then you come up with an idea and then you just like, or you get busy and life happens. And I get that. And, or reaching out to a brand being like, I'd love to collab. Like, instead, frame it as a partnership. Like when you frame it as that way or a sponsorship, it is, in my mind, much more legitimate. It's much more business focused. You're like, you're moving out of amateur and you're moving into professional.
100%.
When you send a DM saying, I'd love to get, the right contact or be put in touch with the right person at said company in order to, share some ideas about a potential partnership versus, hey brand, I really love you and I'd love the opportunity to collab.
Yes, 100%.
So
one thing I will always recommend to creators and influencers, again, is like when you are reaching out to brands, be a little bit more intentional. Come with some type of, at least an idea, a foundation of a concept. So you're not leaving it on them to do all the work for you, because that is partnership. You want to be reciprocal.
Yeah.
Reciprocity.
And also in the Let's Collab for creators, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? Do we want to co-host an event together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's call that what it is.
Yeah.
Do we want to co-write a blog together? Let's call that what it is. Do you want to be a guest columnist in my newsletter? Or do you want to, be in some kind of content together? Or do we want to pitch a brand together? Like, those are the partnerships that I would call a collab. And that's how I envision it going versus I just feel like we're not seeing that collaboration in the way that it could evolve. And so that's why I think more authentic partnerships, more intentionality, as you said, is going to be huge this year. And I hope we can do something together.
Yes, I will love that. I'm not going to say collab. We're going to call it partnership.
Oh, yeah. Let's partner. Don't leave me hanging.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you so much for stopping in the booth. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. This was so fun.